Welcome back to the Super Sim series, where I've decided to make just one sim who will gain almost every trait, master every skill, graduate with all of the university degrees, reach the top of every career, and complete every collection. Our Super Sim Tina is currently, well, she's having a moment eating chairs and all around causing a bit of chaos at the Solar Flare Lounge in Oasis Springs. And as she sinks her teeth into a lamp, you're probably thinking, Tina, you can order actual food here, you know. You might also be thinking, Tina, what happened to make you so mad? I'll tell you what happened. Last episode, despite becoming a Llamacorn Scout, Tina also went a little too deep when embracing a life of chaos. And while this was great for completing the Live Fast, Drama Llama, and Wildfang Renegade's aspirations, it wasn't great for being well liked. Yes, Tina turned into a major high school bully, and it took her a little while to realize that while she ruled the high school, she was also hated. As you might expect, she didn't take too well to this realization, which brings us to Tina lashing out at lamps at the solar flare. It was as Tina turned her attention away from eating the tinny lamps and towards eating a plush sofa that a certain sim showed up at the lounge. It was her mother Sally. Sally was stunned. I mean, even by her standards, this was chaotic. It was one thing to eat furniture at home, but now Tina was shamelessly doing it in public? How on earth was Tina going to become the perfect teen sim that she needed to be? While this newfound diet was surprisingly low calorie, Sally ultimately decided that this needed to stop, and so she suggested an intervention in the form of a getaway retreat in Granite Falls. You see, the Granite Sands retreat had just opened its doors and Sally really wanted to go. Like, she was more desperate than myself trying to buy Dua Lipa concert tickets. But Sally also had a problem, being that she was broke. And so truthfully, this getaway intervention was as much about helping Tina as it was about Sally helping herself to an all expenses paid holiday. Love that for Sally. And thankfully for Sally, Tina was on board. Tina headed home to pack while Sally kicked on. And after fixing up her needs a little, she booked herself and her mum in for a 3-day getaway at Granite Sands Retreat. I built this retreat while streaming, and I've also popped it onto the gallery. So of course, feel free to download and use it yourself should you wish to. And you can also check me out on Twitch if you like as well. The pair settled in, and as Tina was trying to connect with a calmer self, she decided to take on the inner peace aspiration. Completing this requires doing meditation or yoga, seeking relaxation by getting massages or using bath soaks, finding peace by reading wellness books, listening to new age music or smelling incense, and most challengingly, going 48 hours without getting angry, tense, scared, embarrassed, or uncomfortable. I won't lie to you. As Tina started embracing this aspiration, I started wishing that I was Tina. As night fell, Tina and Sally bonded by telling stories around a campfire, and after a good night's rest, they spent the following morning embracing the wellness life despite the bad weather. All the yoga, the relaxation, and the nature really was starting to calm Tina, and she was beginning to think that unlike the many times before, next time she ran into Malcolm, she might not beat him up. Everything was going well. That is, until the incense lit up the vacation home in flames. I was furious because the tense mood it put Tina in totally destroyed my aspiration goals. Not even the sexy fireman dancing around a burnt table could make Tina or myself feel better. And to make matters worse, now she had the fear of fire. And of course, through all of this, Sally was nowhere to be seen. Somewhat thankfully, after taking a soothing lavender foam bath in the rain amongst nature, before then going for a dip in the hot tub, Tina once again started to calm down and get back on track. With it being Harvest Fest, Tina could appease some of the gnomes and be thankful with Sally to ensure that she had a successful holiday and gained a few more satisfaction points. And she did just that, before then spending some time reading a wellness skill book and practicing yoga. This saw Tina complete the first 2 tasks for her aspiration, though she still needed to have many more peaceful surrounding moments with incense that hopefully wouldn't burn down her living quarters, as well as go through 2 days of maintaining harmony to fully complete the inner peace aspiration. That night, as the rain stopped, Tina and Sally took a trip to Granite Falls Forest together, and entering into the lodge, she was surrounded by various insects, which inspired Tina to get started on her very own insect collection. Outside, she found fireflies, locusts, crickets, dragonflies, and even the rare dust spirits before then returning home and settling into bed. Now it was at this time that I realized that Tina had not one, but 4 fears at this stage, and so I actually spent 1,200 satisfaction points buying 4 Fear Begone potions that Tina could then drink to get rid of them. Quick side note, while I didn't do this, know that you can buy one potion, use it to clear a fear, then stop your sim from drinking it, and then use the same potion to clear another fear. Cheeky trick for you. After this, Tina spent time in the morning fixing up the vacation home before searching for more insects for her collection, finding some bees and some very cute little ladybugs as well, before spending some time winding down with a little bit of cross-stitching, where she discovered that it was something that she enjoyed. She later tried her hand at fishing, and this is where she spent some further time reflecting about her ways, and in particular that time that she peed on top of Mars in an onsen on their date. You see, she was feeling pretty bad about it, and to make it up to Mars, she decided that she'd buy and give him another potion of youth. I mean, Tina was close to aging up herself and needed to drink a potion soon too, so this would give them both more time to spend together. Perhaps more importantly, Mars very narrowly won the community vote between himself and Sally regarding who was going to be given a potion of youth in this episode. After taking a moment to catch some butterflies, Tina then broke the news to Sally that she was leaving the holiday a little early. She had things to do, one of them being to attend football training, and after returning home from it, Tina then purchased 2 potions of youth. One was for herself, while the other she gifted to Mars after meeting up with him at the beach bar in Sulani. He gulped the potion down and reset his age, and while Tina did want to stay and flirt, she had another pressing event. You see, while Mars received a potion of youth, Tina's mum Sally did not, and I couldn't have her become an elder without a party. I took a small break from playing Tina's household to play as Sally's, for the sole purpose of allowing Sally to throw a huge birthday bash. Sally forgot that she was hosting a party as soon as she sent out the invites, and greeted a few guests in the nude, but she quickly pulled it together, watching on joyfully as her bees attacked the guests. Tina also showed up in her very intense party look, which was kind of giving Lady Gaga toned down at a rave, but it was still very cute to see the pair enjoying a chat together. To everyone's surprise, the caterer actually baked a birthday cake for Sally, and in less surprising developments, Sally was not awarded the wise trait upon aging up into an elder. Overall though, the birthday was a hit, with Sally spending lots of time chatting to Tina and the other randoms that she invited to make herself look more popular despite barely knowing them. She also told Tina once again that she wants to see her put her chaotic ways behind her and embrace a healthier lifestyle where she eats food, not furniture. And Tina, well, she agreed. After the party, Sally took some saucy selfies before placing them in a keepsake box, and the following morning she visited Tina and gifted the keepsake box to her. You see, Sally wanted Tina to always remember that she was a queen, and some pouting selfies would now last forever as proof. It was now time to swap back over to playing as Tina, and following her chats with Sally and a bit of gardening, it was time to head to the Moonwood Mill and set down her Wildfang's claws. She started by entrusting leadership of the Wildfangs back to Rory, and after further discussions she told Rory that the pack life wasn't for her and that she wanted to leave. Rory took the news well, and even gifted Tina a moon petal as a parting gift, though Tina also left out the tiny detail that she did plan on joining the Moonwood Collective to try and live life as a good werewolf. And that's exactly what Tina did next. She swapped over to the emissary of the collective Aspiration and made a beeline for the Moonwood Collective's hangout. Here she found their leader, Christopher Volkov. She quickly explained that she'd followed the wrong path and now had an addiction to eating furniture and beating up Malcolm Landgrab. And most importantly, she poured out her heart and professed that she wanted to change. It took a lot of explaining, and even a bit of schmoozing with gifts, but eventually when she asked to become a friend of the Moonwood Collective, Christopher agreed. And being a friend was the first step towards becoming a pack member. Tina spent some time that afternoon and night scavenging around Moonwood Mill for more collectibles. On top of this, Tina had 6 ability points that she could spend, and spend them she did. She picked up Wolf Nap, Personal Grooming, and Hunter, as well as Night Vision, which would help her explore tunnels around Moonwood Mill, Natural Healing, which would help her heal from injuries faster, and finally Pack Howl, which would be great for her social need and for passing a werewolf trial. Tina returned home that night and spent some time fixing up her needs before heading to bed. Upon waking on Sunday morning, she grabbed a quick bite to eat and let out a somber howl to keep her fury in check before selling her plant's produce, doing some light werewolf reading, and updating her social bunny. It was then that she purchased a water slide. You're probably thinking, sure, cute, fun, but why? Well, you see, Tina was trying to leave a life of mischief behind her, but she still needed to reach level 10 of the mischief skill before aging up into an adult so that she'd be awarded with the authentic prankster trait. And one strangely effective way to train up the mischief skill without causing that much actual mischief is to regularly add soap to the slide, even if no one is actually going to be using it. While there's around a 1 hour cooldown between soap adds, Tina only needed to go from level 8 to 10, and I was confident that this was the way to get it done. In between adding soap to the slide, Tina invited over werewolves Dakota, Rory, and Jessie. Seeing as she was already friends with them, after a little more chatting with them, they helped her complete the Socialize with Werewolf Friends part of the emissary of the collective aspiration. Then as the sun began to set, Tina headed over to Moonwood Mill. Ready to join the Moonwood Collective pack, she tracked down the leader Christopher before taking on 3 trials. Tina successfully demonstrated scavenging, aced her Lunar Epiphany discussion, and was praised for her pack howl. Having passed the trials with flying colours, when she then officially asked to join, she was accepted into the pack. Following this, Tina went hunting for some meat before returning home to gobble it down, and afterwards she added some more soap to the water slide to help along her mischief skill training. A little later, Tina broke out into a rampage, and sadly she failed when trying to regain control of it, and so she spent the night being real cranky and scavenging the ground. After her rampage ended, she managed to get a little bit of sleep before waking early and, you guessed it, adding soap to the water slide. But this time it was a little bit special, as it saw her max out the mischief skill and thus complete a necessary goal for a teen super sim. Afterwards, Tina headed off to work as a simfluencer before rushing off to school, changing her aspiration to admired icon before posting a couple of times on Social Bunny. Tina did have a difficult task in completing the first stage of the admired icon aspiration, as it required her to make 10 teen friends. Making friends in itself was rather easy considering all of Tina's bonus traits, and I decided to make this even easier by spending 2,000 satisfaction points to purchase the incredibly friendly reward trait. However, one major challenge was that Tina was already friends with heaps of teens. Luckily, Darling Walsh and Yuki Bear were 2 new sims that Tina could make her friend, and she quickly made a 3rd new friend in Noah, and soon after a 4th in Saphira. And it was as she made these friends that Tina started to question whether she should ease up on her ruthless approach to ruling Copperdale High. Following school, Tina made her way to football training, and upon returning home she crashed to sleep exhausted before later waking and fixing up her needs. She also took a moment to post a few more times on Social Bunny and react to others' posts as well. Afterwards, Tina read the book that she received from joining the Moonwood Collective, and she then spent the rest of the morning fishing. Why fishing? Well, fishing is a relatively easy way to progress a werewolf's rank within the Moonwood Collective, and after a morning of fishing, Tina advanced to Delta rank, earning the Mooncaster memento for her efforts. Tina then went to work and to school, and it was on this day that she made a decision that would help to fix her image at Copperdale High. She would disband her Copperdale Highlights Club, whose members were the best at being the worst, plus the school principal. And as part of the club's dissolution, the club hangout room was now open for everyone. And yes, Tina was hoping that this would earn her some love among her peers too. But aside from this, it was a relatively uneventful day, with no new teens turning up that Tina could become friends with. I guess there was a career day, but really this was so boring that it simply felt like a test for Tina, whereby to pass, she had to resist the urge to eat the event tables and spice things up. For the record, Tina did pass. Also, as a side note, I did enjoy the fact that there was a guy promoting the criminal career at the career day, like, hey kids, do crime. Love that for career day. And yes, Tina took notes. She also took some time to post a couple more times on Social Bunny as well. After returning home, Tina paid her bills before then taking a trip to Sulani to go fishing, simply because the weather was way too cold everywhere else. When she later arrived home, Tina went straight to sleep, and it was as she slept soundly and totally did not snore that I had a peek at Tina's character values. They actually weren't as bad as I expected. Somehow her manners were literally perfect, and her empathy and responsibility were both still quite high. Significant work only needed to be done on her emotional control and her conflict resolution values. After Tina woke and fixed her needs, she then went on a jog to clear her mind, which she decided to do while still holding her breakfast. I know, what a multitasking queen. And this jog was great for her emotional control character value. Now, on account of it being Winterfest, there was no school that day, and so I decided to purchase Tina a small table and chair as well as a journal for her to write in, and spending a couple of hours doing this further helped to improve her emotional control character value. Following this, Tina did her homework to top up her responsibility character value, and after it was complete, Tina then turned her attention to embracing Winterfest. She purchased a decoration box and set up decorations before then buying and opening presents, which netted Tina some candles. It was then that Tina had some time to spare before Father Winter arrived, and so she spent a little time reading a history of Moonwood Mill. During her reading, she not only learnt about a secret room in the Moonwood Mill tunnels, but she also discovered how to make the wolf be gone cure, and these discoveries would be very handy for Tina down the track. Now, despite it being a holiday, Tina still had football practice, and it was here that she was promoted to the top of the football team as a team captain, earning a football trophy, a golden football, and also the star player reward trait, which would allow Tina to gain the fitness skill faster. I won't lie, Tina is already level 10 fitness. But, you know, yay new trait. While reaching the top of the football career was great news, Tina also felt that it was time to make a switch. If she truly wanted to win over the school and become an admired icon, then she felt that she needed to be the best in every field. And so she wanted to prove that she could also become the top cheerleader. Hence, Tina quit the football club and joined the cheer team. She was given a cheerleading mat for joining, which she instantly got to work cheering on until Father Winter himself showed up. And he really came to the Christmas table this year, as when Tina asked for a gift, she was given a 4,000 simoleon stove. I felt like they were connecting, and so I then had Tina successfully ask Father Winter for werewolf sympathy, which in turn unlocked the lunar diplomacy dormant ability. This allows Tina to bestow the werewolf ally trait on Sims, which will make them much more accepting and less afraid of werewolves. After a rather long day, Tina finally went to sleep. Upon waking, she fixed her needs before heading off to work as a Simfluencer and then going to school. And it was here that she turned her attention to werewolf control. I mean, she had caused the chaos by turning multiple students and a teacher into a werewolf, and now she had to try and fix it. She swapped over to the emissary of the collective aspiration and got to work, immediately pacifying Wolfgang, who had just started rampaging, which thankfully, or maybe sadly, put an end to what could have been a very chaotic school day. Tina then spent her lunch break using the werewolf diplomacy ability on the entirety of the non-werewolf student body, and of course on Principal May as well. This would give them all the werewolf ally trait so that they'd be able to much more easily coexist with the werewolf teachers and students. As a bonus, Tina became a beta pack member, and additionally she made significant progress in being a good werewolf ambassador for her aspiration. Following school, Tina went straight to cheerleading practice before returning home, and after spending some time fixing her needs, she then received a phone call from Mars inviting her over. She accepted, and of course, she also used her werewolf diplomacy on Mars to make him a werewolf ally. They spent the evening playing video games together before rekindling their romance. Thankfully, Mars was into it. I mean, if Mars rejected Tina after receiving a potion of youth that could have gone to her mum, I'd be a little annoyed. After a good night's rest, Tina went to work as a Simfluencer and then to school. She pacified werewolf teacher Angelo ahead of class, meaning that for once he might actually teach his class as opposed to spending it howling. The rest of the day was a little uneventful, with Tina mostly using it to make a couple of posts on Social Bunny. However, that afternoon things got more interesting with the cheerleading team sports day taking place on the back oval. Tina swapped back to her admired icon aspiration and looked to make some friends. She fought the urge to fight Malcolm and instead offered him a smooth apology, which helped her conflict resolution character value. Additionally, Additionally, Tina made friends with Greta Laurent, as well as Kaori Nishidake, and additionally Duan Tala. And yes, because of all of her positive traits, Tina literally goes to max friendship by simply introducing herself. It's incredibly broken. Afterwards, she swapped over to the emissary of the collective aspiration and used her werewolf diplomacy on all 3 of her new friends to complete the good werewolf ambassador stage of the aspiration. All that was left to do to finish off this aspiration was to become the alpha of the Moonwood Collective, and so she travelled to the PAX hangouts as it struck 2 AM on Saturday morning and waited, having a brief wolf nap and spending some time smelling the area and scavenging the ground to pass the time. When Christopher Volkov emerged the following morning, Tina made her move. After some small talk, she challenged Christopher for pack leadership and then won, which the pair seemed to drink to and celebrate afterwards, which was kind of cute. This not only awarded Tina with an awesome wall clock, but also saw her complete the emissary of the collective aspiration and be awarded the refined lupine trait, which would make it so that as a werewolf she will passively generate less fury over time. Following this, Tina returned home and spent the rest of the day working on her character values. She wrote in her journal to boost her emotional control before then completing her homework to improve her responsibility. I then had Tina volunteer at a soup kitchen, which provided her with a big boost to her empathy character value, and a further improvement to her responsibility too through a volunteer chance card. That night, it was time for Tina's first school prom, and just between us, both Tina and I were a little annoyed that Mars hadn't invited her to go with him. At prom, Tina met and made friends with Kiyoshi before voting for Wolfgang as prom royalty because she didn't think that he would win. But awkwardly, he actually did win it, and Tina was a little pissed. I know Tina has turned over a new leaf, but this was unacceptable. Like that crown does not belong on Wolfgang's head. And almost as if to prove Tina's point, Wolfgang then transitioned into a werewolf rampage. The prom organizers may have forgotten that they have werewolf students and that it was a full moon that night. So yeah, I'm gonna blame them. Wolfgang was rampaging and so was Hugo. Their rampages had completely thrown off the night, and the crowd quickly escaped to the after party, which the rampaging werewolves showed up to as well. Sadly, they kind of ruined the entire night, and so after a quick ride on the haunted house where Tina peed her pants, I then had her quickly dash to Moonwood Mill. Here she tunneled up the mountain and harvested some moon petal before then returning home. After a night of fixing up her needs, come Sunday morning, Tina needed to make 2 more teen friends. She started by visiting Jesse and Andrew, as their younger sister Priscilla was now a teenager, and after becoming friends with her, Tina then went to visit Hugo Villarreal for no other reason than to make friends with his sister Luna, and becoming friends with Luna marked the 10th new teen friendship towards completing the first stage of the admired icon aspiration. Following this, Tina returned home and took a moment to update her social bunny status, before then spending the rest of the afternoon jogging to clear her mind while taking a very questionable route, and then journaling to improve her emotional control character value. At this stage, all of her character values were in perfect range for a bonus trait. Well, that is, all but conflict resolution, which was going to be the most difficult to perfect. But Tina had a plan. The following day at school, she spent all of her spare time causing drama and then fixing it. That's right, she'd throw out an insult at a sim, which would actually lower her empathy character value, but then follow it up with a smooth apology, which would increase her conflict resolution character value. After school finished for the day, Tina went straight to cheerleading practice, where she was promoted to a teammate upon returning home. She then fixed up her needs and afterwards volunteered at a nursing home to keep her empathy character value high. Upon returning home, Tina continued posting and using Social Bunny before then having a quiet night in, and upon waking the following morning, Tina called up the school office and let them know that she was taking a vacation day. You see, her mum Sally was getting on in her years, and Tina wanted to spend a little more time with her. Together they travelled to Finchwick, where the pair spent the day relaxing, chatting, and simply enjoying each other's company. While Sally had undoubtedly been a figure of chaos, she was still Tina's mum, and Tina was a little sad to see her getting older. I mean, seeing a parent growing older can be difficult for anyone, and Tina was still just a teenager with a significantly extended lifespan, but a teenager nonetheless. It was a special day. They chatted together and even went fishing, where Tina caught actual fish and Sally, true to her chaotic self, just caught seaweed. The day was just what Tina needed to boost her spirits and keep her focused on her goals. Late that afternoon, Tina spent some time practicing her cheerleading before practicing guitar for a little while, where she discovered that it was something that she likes. After a night's rest, the following morning Tina read Werewolf books before heading off to school. She once again spent the day insulting Sims before then apologizing as a way to increase her conflict resolution character value. And by the end of the school day, Tina had made significant progress. Following classes, Tina went straight to cheerleading practice before returning home and paying her bills, and then spending a bit of time practicing her cheer routines. Afterwards, she took a quick trip to Moonwood Mill to visit and connect with her Werewolf pack so that they didn't give her the boot as their leader. The next morning, Tina went to work as a Simfluencer, and then she was back at school, with a day that was a literal clone of the one before. Yes, insulting and apologizing was the main agenda, which got her in range of being awarded the mediator trait. And as per the previous day, Tina went to cheerleading practice after school, only this time she was promoted to the cheerleading captain. Here she earned a cheerleading trophy as well as the all-star golden cheer mat, and additionally the cheer champion trait, which allows Tina to train up the fitness skill faster. Yes, a little redundant seeing as it's already maxed, but anyway, Tina decided that becoming the cheer team captain was reason enough to throw an epic party, and she decided that it would have to be tonight. Thankfully, she had earned quite a bit of money from her plants over the weeks, and she splashed the cash to set up an awesome party setting, before then officially sending out the invites for a house party that night. It was an absolute rager, and yes, Sally was there, dancing with enthusiasm like nobody was watching. While no one went for the non-alcoholic beverages, the party was true to form in that the most popular areas were on the dance floor and right next to the food. I mean, we all love food. Tina had kind of wanted to slip away with Mars, but sadly she didn't quite get a chance to that night. Nonetheless, the party ended as a gold-rated event, earning Tina an expensive stereo and also making progress towards her admired icon aspiration. Tina went straight to sleep after the party ended at 2:30 AM, and a few hours later on her way to school she walked past the kitchen where I realized that the caterer really struggled the night before. School was relatively uneventful, but to add to her popularity, Tina purchased lockers for the entire grade. And yes, I actually subtracted the 2,640 simoleon cost of the 22 lockers she purchased from her household funds. After taking her exams and finishing up her day at school, Tina headed over to Thrift Tea in Copperdale to embrace everyone's favorite broken get-rich-quick scheme. That's right, Trendy. If you didn't know, once you make outfits on Trendy, you can list them for sale, and you can literally sell an outfit for millions of simoleons. But for the sake of keeping things balanced in my Super Sim playthrough, I'll be selling all outfits for a maximum of 300 simoleons each. Tina created the Teen Party collection, which is really just an absolute color overload, and then listed all 5 of her trendy looks for sale. In doing this, she completed the second phase of the admired icon aspiration. That's right, she doesn't even have to sell them to complete it. Just making the listings is enough. But it was here that I hit a snag, as the final task to complete the admired icon aspiration is to have 250 followers on Social Bunny. Now I've been regularly posting, reacting, and generally using Social Bunny, even more than I've shown in this and past episodes. And currently I'm sitting at an absolutely incredible 0 followers. I had a comment on my last video that preempted I might have this problem, and sadly even after clearing the thumbnail cache in my game as they suggested, I still wasn't seeing the follower count budge. I looked online too, and it seems that this impacts some people but not everyone, but overall in my case I'm putting this down to another bug, and sadly I ended up cheating this aspiration task so that I could complete the admired icon aspiration, which saw Tina receive the iconic reward trait. Now Tina returned home and sold all of the party equipment that she no longer needed, before then spending a good amount of time cleaning up the house that had been trashed from the party. Also, I'm sorry, but who leaves a taco on the toilet? Following this, Tina fixed her needs and shipped off her first trendy sale before going to bed and deciding to sleep in a trendy look for a reason I don't quite understand. Then the following day, Tina had one thing on her mind, asking herself why weeding her plants wasn't working. I'm just kidding, that's a bug. Prom. Prom was on her mind. Following breakfast, she called up Mars and invited him to Sapphire Party Island to hang out for the day. And Tina was going to Sapphire Island to fish, just not in the way that you first thought. She was fishing for a prom invite from Mars. Only while things started well, Mars ended up being more hot and cold than Katy Perry was in 2008. And Tina really wasn't here to be messed around by this man. If Mars was going to channel Katy Perry, then Tina was going to channel Miley Cyrus and buy herself some flowers. And so off to Tartosa she went, to literally buy herself some flowers. After returning home and shipping another outfit on Trendy, Tina spent the day relaxing before going to Copperdale's theme park to treat herself. You know, if Mars wasn't going to treat Tina right, then she'd do it herself. Then later that afternoon, Tina was invited to a pre-prom get-together, which she went to, only to find that Mars had been invited too. Honestly, the audacity of that man. Tina played it cool and didn't let on that she kind of wanted to punch Mars in the face, and instead she spent some time hanging out with Wolfgang. When prom started, Tina again put herself first. She absolutely ate on the dance floor and absolutely ate food as well. She also told Mars that she'd vote for him as prom royalty before then voting for Jeb. Weirdly though, Wolfgang won prom royalty for the second time in a row, while Tina won prom jester. She secretly wanted royalty, but she'd take the strange hat. She then danced with Wolfgang to really stick it to Mars and ended the prom at a silver rating, which she was happy with. At the after party, Tina and Sophia impressed with their music skills. To be honest, they sounded pretty bad, but the crowd was polite. Tina also enjoyed a taro bubble tea and all around had a great night. She even got some flirty selfies with Rowan. There's nothing happening between them. This was just to post online and make Mars jealous. Tina returned home exhausted after a fun night and shipped off another trendy sale. And when Tina woke the following morning, I encountered a major problem. Her mum Sally had passed away overnight, and when I went scouting for the urn the following morning, I simply couldn't find it anywhere, and I went through many different lots in build mode to try and find that grave. I'll be honest with you, in a method that we're going to pretend never happened, I cheated to summon Sally's ghost, added her to the household, and then resurrected her. I then cheated a little more to get my hands on a death flower scented arrangement before having Tina gift it to Sally, which would see her officially die of old age in a way that I could get an actual grave for her, which I thought was important. Tina cried over Sally's death and strengthened her spirit's connection to the physical world before mourning her a little more. As a silver lining, Tina also left a sugar skull offering, which summoned a Day of the Dead celebrator to the world who thankfully, after numerous asks, gave Tina the first sugar skull for her collection. Understandably though, Tina spent the day in tears. As much as Sally had brought endless chaos, she had also delivered on making life fun for Tina too. And through her tears, Tina wondered, was giving Mars the potion of youth the right decision? Her mother had just passed, and all Mars did for her was be hot and cold. Tina almost felt as if Mars had used her to stay young, and through her sadness, she felt immense anger towards him. That night, as Tina tunneled up the mountain in Moonwood Mill to harvest moon petal during a full moon, she also felt within her that she needed change. Sally's death had made popularity seem meaningless, and so upon returning home, Tina decided to quit her job as a influencer and also swap from being on the cheerleading team to the chess team, as she longed for an activity that was a little more cerebral. On top of this, she felt with the heavy news that she could no longer lead the Moonwood Collective Werewolf pack. Her mind just wasn't in it. She visited the pack and napped nearby until they woke, before then entrusting leadership of the Moonwood Collective back to Christopher once again, and then letting him know that she'd be leaving the pack. Thankfully, he took the news well. That day at school, Tina kept a low profile, attending class and practicing chess in her spare time ahead of her first day at her after-school activity, where she absolutely impressed. Afterwards, Tina licked herself clean and then used her phone to request a science fair day, which she thought would help to take her mind off of things a little, before then heading to bed. She woke early in tears, the memory of her mother still on her mind as she struggled with the loss of Sally, and the tears then then led into a rampage that thankfully Tina just scavenged her way through, and which thankfully ended before the school day started. Once again, Tina spent the school day attending classes and practicing chess, before heading to her chess team practice where she was promoted to a chess teammate. Then later that night, Sally's ghost appeared and knocked over Tina's bin. This was the chaotic sign that Tina needed, and reconnecting with Sally even in ghost form seemed to really help her deal with the loss, even being told off by a grumpy ghost Sally. It just felt correct. Tina believed that she was ready to make the next step into adulthood. She was an A student, she had level 10 of the mischief skill, she'd completed all 4 teen aspirations, and her character values were in range to earn 5 bonus traits upon aging up. But there was one final piece of the puzzle that Tina needed. Tina had reached the top of the computer team, scouts, football team, and cheerleading team after school activities, but she still hadn't reached the top of the chess team or the drama club. Tina purchased and drank another potion of youth to prepare for the task ahead of her, and the next few weeks felt like a blur. Notably, the following day after school, the chess team science fair that Tina had requested took place on the back ovals. Here, Tina took on a chess puzzle and ended up placing first in the competition, and she also purchased both a unique computer team and chess team shirt. The judge also spoke some words that everyone seemed overly interested in. Another notable moment came on Saturday night, where after hours of scavenging the ground, Tina managed to complete the Moonwood Relics collection. Then on Sunday, Tina visited the flea market, where she purchased a cute trash or treasure chair and additionally almost the entire snow globes collection. Literally, Tina has 14 of the 15 snow globes in the collection now. It was after school on Monday that following her chess team practice, Tina was promoted to the chess team captain, earning a trophy, a gold leaf chessboard, and additionally the chess master trait, which would allow Tina to train up the logic skill faster. This also prompted a shift, with Tina leaving the chess team to join the drama club, before of course taking some time to brush up on her acting, where she discovered that it's something that she likes. Additionally, as it was a full moon that night, Tina also ventured to Moonwood Mill and picked the third and final moon petal that she needed for her Cure Seeker aspiration. Now drama and acting came naturally to Tina, and on her very first day of drama club on Tuesday, she was promoted to a line learner. Then on Wednesday, Tina was promoted once again, this time to a practical performer, and thanks to her commitment to the art of drama, on Thursday Tina was promoted to the top of the drama after school activity as a junior artiste, a feat which earned her a drama club accolade trophy. There was now just one thing left for Tina to do before she could age up to a young adult. The following day at school, Tina visited Principal May's office, where she confessed and apologized to her for eating her desk, chair, and computer a few weeks ago. And then Tina asked for an early graduation, and as she was an A student, May accepted. This earned Tina the graduated high school early trait, which would further see her get a boost in her careers. And it was then that after a bit of reflecting on the time that she'd had at the school, that Tina left the halls of Copperdale High for the final time. That night, Tina cooked herself a blue confetti cake before sending out the invites for a big birthday bash. Tina decided that Mars wasn't invited, and instead used the occasion to reconnect with Dakota. Well, kind of. He arrived mid-rampage. But the party was a massive success, provided that we ignore the fact that the mixologist Tina hired decided to pass out on the floor mid-shift. Also, Rory smashed Tina's kettle, so minus points for Rory. Upon aging up, Tina earned 5 new positive traits thanks to her high character values, and when randomizing her new trait, she got kleptomaniac, which I was super happy with, as it's a really fun and chaotic trait that Sims can make use of, and it also ties in well with her maxed mischief skill. Not to mention that maxing the mischief skill had also earned Tina the authentic prankster reward trait. Finally, while it will change, I chose a nature aspiration to start so that I'd get the collector bonus trait, which would be a rather big help for Tina when it came to collecting every single collection. The party was an overwhelming success and ended as a gold-rated event, and as the crowd filed out, it left the question, what now? Tina had gained 16 new traits in this episode alone, and really the list of traits that she had was massive. On top of this, Tina's skills were also insanely high, and by now she'd maxed 6 major skills and an additional 2 minor skills. Plus, attending so many high school classes had really allowed her to have a strong skill set across the board. And with every teen aspiration completed, every possible teen exclusive trait attained, and with having reached the top of every teen after school activity, Tina had officially become a perfect teen sim before aging up. Though despite the incredible progress, there's still a long way to go for Tina's super sim life. Having just graduated from high school, Tina felt like there were endless paths that she could follow, and it's only a matter of time before we find out which one she decides to walk down. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then consider subscribing to stay up to date with the series. And I hope you have an amazing day. See you later.